Well, good morning, everyone, and thank you for being here. If we've ever needed Peace Day in Montgomery County, today is the day for it. Um, I did want to, beyond my colleagues who are here, we have Jen Lynn, who is very well known in Montgomery County, and this young lady is Leanne Smith. Now I've been told that you say it Leanne, right? Because she has the distinct. She has the distinction of being Jimmy Carter's niece, and we're going to hear from her, and she's going to explain the peace symbol in a moment. But and we're going to hear from my colleagues as well, and then we have a proclamation. We have, we are a mosaic of gifts to nurture, to offer, to accept. This quote was written by Mattie J. Stepanek, a young man that gave so much to our community and our world in such a short amount of time. Matthew Joseph Thaddeus, known as Mattie J.T. Stepanek, was born July 17, 1990, and began writing poetry at the age of 3, which he referred to as heart songs. Mattie was an accomplished American poet and published 7 best-selling books of poetry and peace essays. Before his tragic death at the age of 13, Mattie had become nationally known as a peace advocate and motivational speaker, all while suffering from a rare disorder longer than I can pronounce. In 2011, Oprah Winfrey names Mattie as one of her all-time, this is Oprah Winfrey saying this, as one of her all-time most memorable guests in the 25-year history of her show. In fact, Mattie convinced Oprah not to retire from the show on its 20th anniversary through an email saying, and I'm quoting, "It's good for the world and good for Oprah not to retire." His hero was former President Jimmy Carter, who described Mattie as the most extraordinary person whom I have ever known. To honor Mattie, there is a Mattie J.T. Stepanek Park, which is a 26-acre park located within King Farm in Rockville. The park was dedicated in October 2008 at the park. You will see a life-size bronze statue of Mattie and his service dog, Micaiah. This past Saturday, many of us, had the honor of attending Mattie J.T. Stepanek Peace Day of Gathering at the park. It was extremely moving, to say the least, and powerful event celebrating Mattie's birthday and peace legacy. Shortly after Mattie's death, citizens in his King Farm neighborhood established the volunteer-based, not-for-profit Mattie J. Stepanek Foundation with the mission of making Mattie's message accessible to everyone. To learn more about Mattie and the Mattie J.T. Stepanek Foundation, please go to www.mattieonline.com. And now we're going to hear from Councilmember Albernaz, Councilmember Lutke, and then we're going to hear from Leanne, and then Jenny Stepanek as well. With that, Councilmember.
Thanks so much, Councilmember Katz. So Peace Day and this event is one of my favorite events every year in Montgomery County. It's an extraordinary opportunity for us to come together. And from 1999 to 2003, I had the distinct honor and privilege of working at Children's National Medical Center. And I actually met Mattie and Jenny at that time. Mattie was a celebrity at the hospital, loved by everyone, the staff, the volunteers, and you could immediately sense a presence from Mattie, a wisdom that went well beyond his years. And you felt truly at peace in that presence. And that peace has never been more important than right now. Our country feels like it's on fire, and the forces trying to divide us will not succeed because of people like Mattie, because of communities like Montgomery County, because of leaders like Jenny Stepanek, who have made sure that Mattie's legacy will never be forgotten. On a lighter note, I recently bought a bumper sticker that said, "Less honkin', more tonkin'." We need to make sure that here in Montgomery County, we that we are and will continue to be a model of civility, a model of trying to work together even when we have very distinct and passionate differences, so that we can all live in harmony. And so thank you, Councilmember Katz, for putting this very important proclamation together, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
I did not have the opportunity to meet Mattie while he was with us, but I was an avid listener of the Jack Diamond Morning Show, and I would get extra excited whenever Mattie would be on the show, because as soon as you would hear his voice and as soon as you would hear the profound things that would come out of this small child's mouth, you couldn't help but believe that you were listening to an angel who was placed here on earth. And it would fill you up. And one of the things I love the most about Mattie's heart songs is not just the significance of the message, but that they did, in fact, and remember, this was a child writing this, recognize the humanity in all of us, recognize that humans are not perfect, but give you a roadmap for moving forward in a positive fashion. That is his legacy, and it is a beautiful one. And from time to time, we all are humans. We all need to go back and revisit that and hit pause and take that moment when you feel upset, hurt, wronged, and go back to that to find a center, to find a grounding again. I urge you all to visit the park over at King Farm. It's a beautiful place and space, and it is newly bedazzled. Again, after this weekend's Peace Day event with little hearts and rocks that have been strewn all about, go find some, go take some time to reflect. And I want to thank Jenny for her tireless work in making sure that peace is a part of our everyday life, and in persistently giving of herself back to our community. You are a treasure. So thank you.
Hi, I'm Leanne Smith from Plains, Georgia, and I do stretch my words out a little bit. Or so I've been told since I got up here in this neck of the woods. But I didn't get to know Mattie either, but over the years that Jenny lived in Americus, Georgia, which was only about 10 minutes from me, I saw this wonderful lady full of spirit and peace signs, no less, which I love, whizzing around the streets, coming to every event that was possible, always with a smile on her face and an uplifting word for anybody that was there to listen. She later asked me to be on the foundation, the Mattie Foundation, and I was very honored to do that. Jimmy Carter is my uncle, Rosalind, and my dad, and her name is Rosalind. She's named after somebody in our family named Rosa. Is my aunt, so by marriage, I'm related to Jimmy Carter as a niece. Well, when they put him in hospice, or he came home that Saturday, I just had this kind of meltdown moment of who was going to do all the things that he did to carry on peace throughout the world. Because, I'm kind of partial, and I'm thinking, this is my uncle, and he's wonderful, and I love him to death, and he does all this good. But what happens from this point on? So later that afternoon, I called Jenny in my meltdown stage, and I'm like, Jenny, well, I don't know what to do. I mean, I'm seeing this is more than I can bear at the moment. And she just said over the phone that it's our place to fill in his shoes and to carry on peace and love and empathy and compassion for all the people that are around us, because we all are equals. And that's what my uncle truly believed, and that's what Mattie believed. And I think that that's how they came together. And I think that that's now our job, is to carry on their legacy and to share peace however we can possibly do it, whether it be speak to somebody at the grocery store or hang a peace sign on the front door. I hung 18 of these that week, and it went snowball through the news, and now I've done over 300. and they're hanging, and it just says, spreading peace with Uncle Jimmy on the back. So it doesn't matter, big or small. It can be a smile, but we just need y'all working with us to help spread Mattie, Stepanek, and Jimmy Carter's message of peace, because it is possible. It's very much so possible. And I appreciate being invited, and I've enjoyed my trip here, and I will be back now that I know how to get here.
And as they say, come back often, you hear? Yeah.
And y'all come see us.
Yeah, there you go.
Thank you, Leanne. And she's right. Peace is for all generations. Like, you've got this. I think when Mattie and Jimmy were good friends, he was in his 80s, and Mattie was like maybe 10 years old when they finally met. And they became best friends. I want to say, first of all, thank you, Council Member. I want to say Sydney, Council Member Katz. I'm being official here, and the County Council, and the entire county in Montgomery County, Maryland, for choosing year after year to say peace matters. Peace does matter, and it's easy to remember peace when we go to the Peace Day. All right, we have the Peace Day, and Mattie's Foundation provides you at no cost this opportunity to come together and get to know your neighbors, get to know your elected leaders, people who want to be leaders, people who are the children that are sometimes annoying you and like running through your garden, but get to know your neighbors, get to know how we are the same and that we have some similar needs, get to know what the needs are so we can tend to basic needs and be okay. And play together, talk together, be together. So we offer this event, and hundreds of people come and they do arts and crafts and listen to music. And then we go on to the next day. And that's what matters, is the next day. What matters is after Jimmy Carter, after Mattie Stepanek, after we finish proclaiming peace right now, and you all have a heavy agenda today that could devolve into something that's not kind. I want everybody to remember that peace is possible. Peace is not perfection. Peace is not a destination. It is a journey. It is purpose. We can always, in fact, not we can, we will always have conflict. We are always going to disagree. There's going to be something that we can't agree on. But we can also always be kind, considerate, respectful. We can agree in ways that we are not hurting each other, not attacking each other, and we are still taking care of basic needs of every person in our city, our county, our state, and our world. Because when our basic needs are met, we can be okay. And if I can be okay, I'm not scared, I'm not hungry, I'm not lacking hope and purpose, I can then look at you and say, are you okay? And this is where Mattie took it to the next level. Are we okay? I need to be okay. I need to make sure you're okay, but we all need to make sure that we are okay together. So have a good meeting. Remember, peace is possible, and rise to that occasion. Thank you. Mama, peace out.
And as we read this proclamation, Jenny, I can say that the one thing that everyone can agree on is that we love you and Mattie. Could we get another round of applause for her, please? We have a proclamation from the Montgomery County Council, whereas Mattie J. Stepanek, born July 17th, 1990, was a 7-time New York Times best-selling author, lyricist, and American poet, and before his death at the age of 13, he became known as a peace advocate and motivational speaker, and
whereas Mattie wrote 6 volumes of poetry on heart songs, which he described as gifts that reflect on each person's unique reason for being, as well as a collection of peace essays, all while living with a rare and fatal health condition called dysautonomic mitochondrial myopathy. Whereas Mattie wanted to be remembered as a poet, a peacemaker, and a philosopher who played and made a difference to millions of people by his writings, TV appearances, and music albums. Oprah Winfrey named him one of her all-time most memorable guests in the 25-year history of her show, and a messenger for our times. And
whereas Mattie was a deeply spiritual and religious young man who believed his purpose was to be a messenger of hope and peace around the world, and that peace is possible, peace is for all people, peace can be taught, and peace begins with deliberate choices in attitude and action. And whereas in honor of Mattie's contributions, a congressional resolution was passed in 2014 to support the Mattie J. Stepanek Foundation's National Peace Day campaign to have Mattie's birthday annually proclaimed as a day to learn about and celebrate peace. And
whereas in commemoration of his life and legacy, a 26-acre namesake park and playground with a statue and a peace garden was created in 2008 in his King Farm neighborhood and the city of Rockville in partnership with the Mattie J. Stepanek Foundation annually celebrates Mattie's Peace Day in July. Now therefore be it resolved that the County Council of Montgomery County, Maryland, hereby recognizes July 17th as Peace Day in honor of Mattie J. Stepanek's life and legacy of peace, which continues to gently shape our world with hope and goodwill. It's presented today, and it's signed by my colleagues, Councilmember Albernaz, Councilmember Lukey, Council President Glass, and myself. And we congratulate all. We're going to get a picture taken. So you all come down and get a